Hi guys, and welcome to part 2 of my adventure along the Sligo Way. In this episode you will see myself travel with two good friends of mine, Jack and Jermid. Oh! And we will start off by leaving from our hometown of Dromahair, which is the start or end point of the Sligo Way depending on which way you're travelling, and is actually in the county of Leitrim. I would walk back towards the town of Collooney where I had left off the day before to complete the Sligo Way in its entirety. In my humble opinion, this section of the trail from Dromahair to Collooney, which is also known as the Sligo Camino, greatly outweighs the sections travelled in the previous episode in terms of its beauty and trail infrastructure. This is really a highlight reel of what some beautiful Irish countryside can look like on a pretty day. Upon leaving Dromahair, you will briefly travel along a wooded riverside path before finding the Creevely Abbey on your right hand side. Built in the 16th century by the O'Rourke family, which was unfortunately destroyed by fire after only standing for 28 years. Just around the corner you will find the official waypoint for the Sligo Way. Before continuing along some minor roads and reaching a stile to cross some farmland, do make sure not to let yourself be bullied by the locals.
Oh, he's friendly.
There we are.
Oh. Oh. Jim, would you get over the fence? It's a shot. They're not like donkeys.
No, they're a bit bigger. Suck. There we are.
Stay back.
There we are.
If you do find yourself being intimidated by the locals, then put on your best Irish accent, shout some slurs, and move towards them with absolute confidence.
Up, oh, see, oh, oh. He's a wee bullock there. Go on.
Yeah, they're all wee bulls.
Oh, are they? Up, there you go.
That's a wee cow.
Up, go on.
Tiny teeth.
Don't show fear. Come on. Up. Up. That's the bites. Go on, no.
After crossing this field, you will enter into Collooney Forest, which is actually a sentimental place of value for myself, as a lot of my family members on my father's side had grown up in the area, and I used to go for a lot of walks in this forest with my father when I was younger. I was quite surprised to find that an engraving we had made in a tree is still visible to this day, and this engraving was made back in 2008. 12 years ago. Still there.
Well, good name, huh? Are we getting on? Sheds? You well? There's plug sockets on the wall.
No way.
Yeah. It's not that old, obviously.
Yeah. Dude, it's amazing how fucking fast things go downhill, man. Wow, that's really cool. Oh. That's a lovely little window. Where's fucking pocket? Mad. What the fuck?
Yeah, I know.
That doesn't seem right.
After leaving Collooney Forest, you will pass a fine example of a Irish thatched cottage before heading towards the Lake Isle of Innisfree viewing point. The Lake Isle of Innisfree was made famous by the Sligo poet William Butler Yeats, and many of you may know the poem The Lake Isle of Innisfree. I'm not going to recite it, but if you are doing this trail, it is something that you're obliged to stop and have a look at. Although, in my opinion, there are some much more fascinating islands to be found on the island of Lochiel, but never mind. After taking in the wholesome views of the Lake Isle of Innisfree, you will continue on through Cullentra Wood, or what is also known as the Millennium Forest. On the other side of this forest, you will find the boardwalk which leads you towards Sligo Wood. The view really opens out here, and you can see a lot more of Lochiel, and looking across the lake you'll see St Angela's College, which probably has one of the best views for a college in the entirety of Ireland. This boardwalk is very well developed, and I urge you to take your time crossing this, as it's the only place in Ireland that I can almost guarantee on a sunny day that you might find the Irish common lizard basking out on the wood there. Every time I've walked this boardwalk, I have seen the Irish common lizard, which to me is a bizarre little creature to think that these guys can actually survive in such a cold climate. They do hibernate for many months of the year, but during the summer you're pretty much guaranteed to find them basking out in the sun. After crossing the boardwalk, which I feel is really well developed and really adds to the infrastructure of the trail, because I remember walking this section of the trail when I was younger and it wasn't so pleasant without the boardwalk, you will pass into Sligo Wood.
Of his mum's eye and his eye. I love all the low-hanging trees. Walking, just walk and instantly the shoes are filled with films. Wow, the light on it. You want to slip though? No, you don't want to slip because if you fell back.
So after leaving Sligo Wood, after a very brief road walk, you get back on trail, and this little section of trail was actually quite gorgeous, but you would ascend towards Loch Lomond, which is an isolated little lake on top of the mountain there, and there's a bench which serves as an idyllic spot to stop for some lunch and recharge. After our lunch break, we found ourselves to have a sudden burst of energy. And we would now continue on towards Ballygolly Forest.
You're gonna have to speed this up.
After passing through Ballygolly Forest, we would cross a road.
Car!
Fuck!
Hey!
I'll never go to the doctor no more.
Hey!
No matter
Nice.
how sick I get. Too damn hard for that.
After passing through Ballygolly Forest, we would cross a road into Union Wood, and Union Wood is very popular with mountain bikers. The trails there are very well maintained, and it is steeped in a lot of history, military history in particular. I shall leave you in the good hands of Jack to narrate the great battle that took place there.
22nd, 1798, around 1,000 French soldiers under the command of General Humbert landed at Kilmcummin in County Mayo. They arrived to support the Irish rebels of that year and were joined by up to 5,000 local rebels. On the 5th of September, the advancing Franco-Irish troops were met by the British at Collooney, where the battle ensued. The British forces had installed a cannon on Union Rock, thereby giving them a significant advantage. Captain Teeling, General Humbert's Irish aide, cleared the way for the advancing Irish-French army by single-handedly disabling the British gunner post when he broke ranks and galloped towards the rock, armed only with a pistol.
Within Union Wood, you will find Union Rock, and this opens up to a lovely view of Collooney town off to your left, and off to your right you'll see Ballysadare Bay and the mountain of Knocknaray.
Gorgeous. Bring it out there.
Yeah, Frankie's gonna go pick up Roger in like 20 minutes, so.
So after descending Union Rock, we would head through the remainder of Union Wood to take us into the town of Collooney. And this is where my friend Jack lives, so that's where we would end up spending the night. And that was actually my main motive behind walking the rest of the trail backwards from where I had left off the day before. So that really concludes the end of our journey, the end of our day hike of that section of the Sligo Way. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was a little bit informative. I definitely had to tackle a different style of editing for this video, as my audio was pretty much rendered useless as we played music a lot of the way on speakers. Jack and Jeremy and myself were chatting pure shite, to be honest, so it really did render a lot of my clips useless. That's why I took this narrative, more kind of informative approach to my editing style. But you know, I found it a good challenge. I'm really still trying to figure out my own style of this non-fiction documentary style of editing and storytelling. And if you guys have any questions about the Sligo Way, please do write something below down in the comments. And also, if you're looking for a second perspective on the Sligo Way, I would recommend a YouTube channel called Tough Souls. These guys, I've been following them for quite a while, and they have walked every national waymark trail of Ireland, and they are basically the visual guide to all of these trails. They did a really great job. I believe they hiked over 40 trails, so I'd highly recommend Tough Souls. They also did the Sligo Way, and those guys are pros, so I'd highly recommend the channel Tough Souls. And on that note, I'm going to leave you guys. Peace. Thank you very much for watching.